Hello, hello. Hello, Will and Marina. Hope you're both doing okay. Hope you're feeling somewhat better, Will. You already want a countdown. Oh my god. Are we really doing this? Oh dear. Okay, back at work. That's all right then. I mean, you must be doing better then if you're back at work, so... Like, yeah, even if you're not 100%, I guess that's okay. Right. I think I'm just going to do no resets again. I really don't think I should be resetting stuff yet. On like second day back. This will probably just be like a couple no reset runs. Just to do the full run again. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna like die here and then just reset. But no. Okay, no resetting past like Ogre, let's say that. If I make it past Ogre, we're doing the entire run. Because in all honesty, that's just kind of what I need to do. I just need to do the entire, like I've done segments, I just need to do like the entire run a bunch. Didn't answer your question. What was your question? Wait, what? Like, question where? I am not a knower. Which question? Discord? Wait, hang on. What did you say? What? Where did I disappear to? Oh, what, yesterday? I didn't. I was waiting for you to get to the bonfire and you never did. So... I was waiting for you to get to the bonfire and... Okay. I said before Ogre. Fuck. Hey, it was before Ogre, so yeah, we'll reset. I was waiting for you to get to the bond, because say I couldn't put my sign down at like the fork roads or whatever they're called. So I was waiting for you to get to the, like actually into the castle. So we could run through it or say or wherever you need to summon. How did I make you waste an effigy? I could not put my sign down. That's not my fault. The game would not let you summon there. That wasn't me making you waste an effigy. If for New Game Plus, surely there are like a ton of pickups again that you can get, right? Yeah, but you wouldn't have been able to, like, go from the Nazca bonfire, though. I just don't think you would be able to, because Nazca was dead. So I don't even think you could summon and run the other way. I can't remember what all like the summon requirements are, but so I was waiting for you to make it into the castle and you just never fucking did. So I mean, yeah, maybe you could have done. So I'm not entirely sure how it all works with aesthetics and stuff. A Witch Invader. I can't remember which Invader you mean. But I don't remember there being an Invader like in Dranklaic or whatever. Your armor's definitely upgraded, yeah, because like I was getting nowhere near one-shotted, and Lucatiel's armor definitely has lower stats than Havel's. So I was nowhere near getting one-shotted. So I don't know how that was the case for you. What does kind of what does kind of a one-shot mean? Like hang on. There was a cat at my door. He hit you more than once but in one move. Oh, I kind of get that. Yeah, that was my cat. This is the cat that has been starving because they were fed like an hour ago or something. So yeah. I was wondering if that was going to pick up on the mic, and yeah, it did. So yeah, that was my cat. He's still going. Oh my god, he was fed an hour ago. Jesus Christ. How many hours do I have on the Souls games? Demon Souls, I'm gonna say like 60. DS1, I'll say like 60 as well. DS2, probably like 80 or 90. Bloodborne, like 150 maybe, like 150 to 200. DS3 like 500. Sekiro probably 600 or 700, and I think Elden Ring is also like 600 or 700. I mean, he probably is hungry because he got put on a fucking diet by the vet because he just eats. Like, all he does is eat and he got put on a diet. Because they used to give him a ton of, like... Because we always used to give him a ton of, like, treats or, you know, like, extra chicken or whatever when we were cooking or something, but that was like, yeah, he's too big. So now he can't eat that much. So he probably is hungry, but tough. That's how it is. Yeah, we probably kind of did overfeed him. I mean, it's not necessarily that we... Also, some of the times it wasn't necessarily that we fed him. He would just find the food himself. So... He found a way to get to it. Yeah, I'm sure he's not actually starving. He'll be fine. Definitely fed him hot. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. He actually wasn't really that interested in turkey. Like over Christmas, like we gave him the option. Or like we left some off to like the side of him, and he honestly wasn't that interested. Definitely not as much as something like chicken. It's a very picky cat. I mean, well, obviously he does what all cats do, where you try them out on a new food, they really like it, so you're then like, oh yeah, they really like this food, and go and buy a bulk of it, and then he just stops liking it. Which, in fairness, I think is most pets, but... There's most pets, but he literally does that all the time. As soon as we buy a bulk of something, it's just... Yeah, I no longer like it. Tough. You just bought like this 30 pack of something or 40 pack, whatever. Nah, I don't like it. Yeah, I don't... It's just so annoying. Like, I don't know why, but... I mean, at least in our case, he does sort of go back to the stuff he's liked. Like, he'll go off it, but eventually he will seem to like it again. So he will still eat it, but just not, like, then and there. So I kind of need, like, 2 different foods for him. Depending on which one he actually wants, or like which one he likes at that time. Shit. But I said we were doing a no reset past Ogre, so that's what we're doing. I said no reset past Ogre. We are past Ogre. But now we don't have to worry about this being the run, so... We now have an hour and a half's worth of opportunity for completely deranged chat like yesterday. I mean, honestly, Father Owl has honestly given me quite a lot of issues recently. I've never been that worried about it, but he's actually like messed me up quite a lot over the past few weeks. And now one of the more nerve-wracking bosses for me. I still don't think he's that bad, but like that difficult to do hitless. Or at least with the amount of times I've fought him, but definitely isn't as you know, it's like worrying as before. You know, not as much of a roadblock. Definitely not to the extent that something like Lady Butterfly was. I mean, say it is just a case of putting some time into it. Like Owl, you can basically just keep attacking him until he like backs away from you. Like his attacks are very readable, so what are you doing? What is this ball doing? I'd say Owl doesn't really have that many attacks that cause too many issues. You know, like I'm just bad most of the time. I guess the only thing is when he does like the owl thing in phase 2, like tracking the owl can be a bit difficult. So there's not really anything like super worrying. I was thinking the inner version. Oh yeah, Inner Owl is a fucking nightmare to hitless. Oh yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't even trust myself to do Inner Owl hitless. Like that fight is tough. I say Inner Ishin hitless is pretty similar to regular Ishin, but Inner Owl has so much like more different shit going on. Yeah, I would not trust myself to do that one. It's a way harder fight. Just because of all like the Mist Raven shit he can do. Like, as all the different Mist Raven attacks just make it super tough to time. Yeah, I'm honestly... I mean, I could probably hitless him, but not... Definitely not consistently. You know, it would kind of be like a one-off thing. Say Father Owl, I beat on my first try in my like first playthrough. Like Father Owl was first try, which then as soon as I did other playthroughs, that was a fluke. Like that was just first try luck. Yeah, Inner Father is way more difficult. Like I said, I just don't understand all the Mistwave and stuff. I do think Inner Father isn't as good as regular Father, like because of the Mistwave and stuff. So regular Father is completely fine now, but I honestly don't fight the inner bosses that often. Like, I fight inner Ishin a fair bunch, but not the other two. I mean, the Mistwave and stuff does look really cool, but it's an absolute nightmare to deflect and to read. Like, it is very difficult to actually read it. So honestly don't even know if I could beat Inner Genichiro, like, if I just fought him right now. Like, Inner Genichiro, I cannot do. Just like the first phase stuff is quite different, I remember. And yeah, that's the cool part about Sekiro with all the reflections and stuff. Because I used to do that. Like, so maybe a couple, like, year or two ago, I would do that, or I would just, you know, load up Sekiro and just fight some of the bosses and then log off again. Because Sekiro bosses are pretty fucking good. So I would go on, I would fight like Ishin, Ao, Monk. You know, I'd maybe like M or someone. I'd fight my favourite bosses and then just close the game again. But I used to do that all the time. So not so much now, but... So I don't do that anymore, but... Well, definitely in like the time after my first playthrough, like that sort of period, like after I got all the achievements or whatever, and it was like, I still want to play Sekiro, but I've done everything in Sekiro. Then, you know, just load up the game and fight some bosses. Yeah, now I get to fight them all a ton of times every day. I mean, it would be more if I actually practice shit, but... Like, I probably would have already got this one if I actually did some sort of consistent practice. But instead we do this. Yeah, instead we just do a ton of runs and fight them all, and then it's like, it's never the same boss as well. It's never the same boss that I get hit to, it's always just like a different one every time. Or a different section every time. It's never like, I don't know if I ever get hit to the same thing like 2 runs in a row. You know, the game has to keep it fresh and keep swapping everything around. I mean, in all seriousness, if I do just need to like practice some things frequently and then just go at this run for like a week and it'll be done. Imagine this randomized. I mean, in all seriousness, I'm not even convinced it would be that bad. I mean, all memories, yeah, I could see that, but just like doing no-hit randomized, honestly, don't think it would be super bad. Because say, like, the vast majority... I forgot the catching. Shit. Grapple. Like, the vast majority of bosses, if not all of them here, are 1v1s. Like, they're in 1v1 arenas. I mean, I've fought Guardian Ape in Genicho's arena. It's honestly not that bad. Like, it honestly really is not that bad. So, like, every boss is a 1v1. So... I don't know, I mean, like, the running sections, like, especially that cricket room, like, some of the running sections would be really bad. And maybe, like, Hirata with the drunkard mini-bosses. But the actual randomization of, like, the bosses themselves, don't think they would be an issue. I mean, yeah, if you're like, if you don't like Ape or like, if you don't like a certain boss or like bad at a certain boss, then yeah, it doesn't matter what the arena is. You're gonna have a rough time. But I think the only real issue is like Dragon, maybe Demon because of the AOE. Like, they're the only real issues where the arena could matter. What was my favourite fight yesterday? What, the ones we did, Will? I mean, I'll just say Freya. Because, like, Freya's an underrated boss. So, hello, Usama. I'm doing pretty well, thank you. Hope you're doing well too. So I try not to fuck up Armored Warrior. I fucked up Armored Warrior. Well, we're still on for Damageless. We're still on for Damageless. You know, welcome in, Friendo Fox. And yeah, hope you, or glad you enjoyed the 1.0 video. The algorithm definitely did its thing with that one, yeah. Definitely did its thing. I mean, we did fight Sinner pretty decently, yeah. I mean, as soon as the summons were gone, as soon as like the pyromancers were gone, it was pretty fine. Oh, there's maybe the odd close call, but there was nothing like really that worrying, I would say. We were never really that close to dying. How many how many subs do I have for releasing a video? So the video released on... I'm trying to think. Okay, the video came out on February 25th. And on February either 27th or 28th, it was in the 780s. So about 2 weeks ago, it was in the like mid to high 700s. And yeah, now we're into like high 1900. So yeah, the algorithm liked it. Yeah, I think we're on like 1950 something. I mean, in fairness though, a lot of those subs haven't actually been from that video. Or, you know, there haven't been people directly subscribing on that video. Because like for the 1200 or so I've added in the past 2 weeks, I think that video directly has added like 850. So it's still like a very decent amount that just haven't even been on that video. Although that could just be people like doing it on the channel page rather than in the video, you know. I mean, like, YouTube discovery for channels can be a bit weird. Obviously, like, I mean, recommended is well recommended, but in terms of actual discovery, like ways to search certain channels, it can be a bit odd at times. Sekiro's your favourite Souls-like? Nice. It's probably my favourite as well in terms of... I mean, it's my favourite in terms of, like, challenge runs, you know? Or, like, speed running or challenge running is my favourite. I think, casually speaking, my favourite is Bloodborne, but... You know, I wouldn't be playing Sekiro for, like, 3-4 hours a day if I didn't enjoy it, so... That's okay, Marina. I don't think anything came through, but... I mean, internet can always be shitty at times. Yeah, I think I've had that a lot as well, Agility. Like, recently I've had a lot of, like, smaller channels or, like, lesser viewed videos show up in my recommended. I mean, a lot of, like, they are really well made, so I do actually, like, click on or sort of hang around in a couple of them. Or, like, if a stream comes up, I'll put it on in the background to just see what they're doing, kind of thing. It is pretty good, though, that... I mean, that's definitely compared to... I mean, I can't really say I wasn't exactly uploading anything, like, 2-3 years ago, but... definitely compared to like 2-3 years ago, like discoverability on YouTube and that sort of thing definitely seems like it's improved. Yeah, I know what Rent-A-Car is, Will. Yeah, Liza P deserves a much bigger fan base. It's such a good game. I said it was my game of the year for 2023. You know, kind of sad it didn't win any awards, but it is such a good game. And yeah, it is nice that YouTube does just like recommend a ton of smaller stuff now. I mean, I guess in my case, I mean, in fairness, I'm not subbed to that many Souls creators. Like, even if there are some that I watch from time to time, I'm not subscribed to them on YouTube. So I guess because I'm not actually like subbed to a lot of the larger creators, for me it recommends like some of the smaller stuff, I guess. I mean, like, I don't know, I really want to do something else in Liza P. It's such a fun game. Liza P is a very, very fun game. Yeah, I'd definitely recommend getting it if you can. But it is so good. I think I have around 100 hours on it. Because I remember trying to like no-hit some bosses, and a lot of them were pretty fucking difficult to no-hit. Yeah, that's it. I have save files for like every single boss. I mean, because there's no like actual like proper save manager for Liza P, so it is a bit clunky to like mess around with saves. But yeah, I have saves for every boss, so I could just like go on and fight one that I want to. I mean, and also like the bosses are actually, you know, good. Like on the most part, Liza P has pretty fucking good bosses. I honestly don't know what my favourite music from the game would be. Or like boss music. I'm honestly not sure. Like I can remember a couple, but I think given I can only remember what a couple of them sound like, I don't want to like just say that that one is my favourite because I can't really remember the others. I definitely pressed L1 at the correct time there. I don't know what you're on about, game. I think that's the second time I've been hit by the Snake Eyes grab in like 2 runs. I honestly don't know what this game is on about. Like, why can I not deflect that anymore? I even practiced Snake... Yeah, like, that's what I was doing. I even practiced Snake Eyes on Tuesday or Monday, whenever it was. And I just got the normal, like, addition agility. Like, I didn't even get it at release. Like, I got it... I probably got it, like, a couple months after release. Like, that's it. I knew about it beforehand and had thought about getting it, but I didn't. And then I saw other people playing it and saw some, like, the bosses and stuff and decided to get it. So I probably got it in, like, October or something. But yeah, it was very worth getting. But honestly, just probably just straight up my favourite Souls-like. Obviously, like, not made by FromSoft themselves. P is like, well, P is the main character in the game, but like it's Pinocchio. It's basically like Pinocchio Souls. And you with like puppets and you lie about shit. It's pretty fun. Yeah, I remember that was a thing as well, that you got like early access with the deluxe edition, which is probably cool. But say I remember like being like really wanting to play it and seeing it, but I just didn't get it at release or anything. I'm trying to think of how long it took me to like play all the Souls games. Like I first played a Souls game in August 2020, I think, is the first time I played DS3. So I first played the Souls game in August 2020, and then I finished DS2 I want to say like May 2021. I want to say like May or June. And then like obviously waiting for Elden Ring. Or maybe it's like July. I'm not entirely sure when I finished DS2. I could probably like check the platinum like when I got it, but I don't remember like when I first saw a trailer of Lies of P, or like what the first trailer I saw was. I honestly don't remember. I actually can't remember any of the trailers, I don't think. Jeez, that is a pretty that's a pretty like stacked calendar of Souls likes. Definitely seems like fun though. Yeah, that is pretty stacked. But say I played like Demon Souls, Bloodborne, and I guess also Code Vein, like all around the same time, in sort of like January, February 2021. I played all of those games at like the same time almost. Then obviously like, yeah, Elden Ring in like February, March 2022. And then, so I think Lies of P I played in like October or something. Because I remember my 200% speed challenge run was, like the video came out in December. So I must have done the run itself in like November or something. Yeah, playing Bloodborne and DS2 currently. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the thing. So I got a PS5 in January 2021. So I also I also don't own a PS4. So I was very lucky to get a PS5 in January 21, like a couple months after release. And then I could buy like all the PS4 and 5 games. So I played Demon Souls Remake. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, like, if you already own a... I'm going to be brutally honest. If you already own a PS4, there isn't that much stuff that's, like, PS5 exclusive that I would say makes it worth buying an entire PS5. But that's the thing, like, because I don't own a PS4, me getting a PS5 meant I had... meant I had 2 generations worth of games that I could get. So also meant that obviously not even Souls, like I could just play other PS4 stuff. You know, like Nier Automata and the other kind of like good games from that era. Yeah, I think I have a PS3 as well. I've thought about, or I mean, we have a PS3 in our family. I don't actually think I have access to it at the moment. But I think my brother's using it at the moment. I have thought about getting Demon Souls for PS3, you know, just to basically just to own it. Or, you know, maybe play through it at some point, but yeah, it would be a very different thing going back. I mean, 2009, you know, it's going to be clunky and all that stuff. But also the graphics are going to feel very bad. So I've only played Automata. I've considered getting Replicant like a few times, but I just haven't yet. Like I kind of, well, not that I kind of know what happens in Replicant, but I know like what the like twist is, or like what the big reveal is at the end, or what it's supposed to be, kind of thing. So I mean, I'd still consider playing it, I guess. But since I kind of already know what happens, or at least I think I know what happens. Obviously, I could just be wrong, but I mean, Automata was a very fun game though. Of just like every genre possible. No, we don't know what game to make, so let's make a 3D, 2D side-scroller bullet hell. Like, sure, why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? You know all of Bloodborne. I mean, say I'm not exactly complaining that I know, that I basically know what happens in Nier, but I mean, you knowing all of Bloodborne was your choice. Like, you chose to come and sit through the entirety of Bloodborne, even though you've never played it and would be like spoiling the entire game. So that's on you. Involuntary spoiler. How was it involuntary? You were aware ahead of time that I was playing Bloodborne on Saturday, and you went on YouTube and clicked on the stream and watched it. Like, how is it involuntary? I did do that at more than 200% speed, that is true. But at the same time, when I did Owl, it also took, what, like half an hour of attempts? Half an hour of attempts in real time, so the actual in-game time. Yeah, for that run, the speed up run, real time, I think it was about 7 hours. Or like 6.5 hours, I can't remember exactly. But then in game time, it was like 14 hours. I do really want to actually watch some of that footage, but slow it down to 100% speed. Just to see like how bad it is. Like how funny it looks. It would be like the worst looking gameplay ever at normal speed. Like watching me fight like Ishin or Owl or something. Does beating Bloodborne with a broken hand mean you'll be a god when your hand is unbroken? Of course. Why would it mean anything different? You're playing it with one hand, which means that when you get the second hand back, you'll be better. Or playing it with like a bad hand. Like, totally. Because that's definitely how games work. Yeah, like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, even if Will didn't, or like won't remember every single boss, he kind of remembers the gist of it. I say the first half of Bloodborne is, yeah, this blood is like, it's a bit out of control and it's turning people into beasts. So, you know, go into Yharnam and kill some of them. Sort of keep it under control. Just kill some of them, basically. And then by the end of the game, it's like, oh yeah, here's God. Fight it. Yeah, exactly. You remember like 8 to 12 bosses, which is more than half of the bosses in the game. I mean, in fairness, that is a lot of Souls games where it's like it's more like exaggerated, or like more, the split is wider in Bloodborne, but a lot of Souls games are basically at the start, oh yeah, just go and do this thing, it's gonna be fine. And then by the end of it, it's kill God. Like, that is how most Souls games go. I mean, even if that is including DLC, I mean, DLC is where, like, DLC is the good bosses, like the really good bosses, so. And you probably also spoiled some of the reveals of them. I mean, if I had to take a guess, I would guess it would refer more to like a bloodborne illness because of the E at the end. Like, surely if they were blood, like they were born of the blood, it wouldn't have an E at the end. Because I think it would be a different spelling of born. So, I mean, so my interpretation is that it refers to, like, a bloodborne disease. Or, like, a bloodborne illness. But I don't know, it's possible. I'm sure... I'm sure law people... I mean, Souls law people have an explanation for everything, so... I'm sure they have a reason. There's one for Will. There's two for Will. There's three for Will. Every soul has its dark. That reminds me of the fucking... Which Devil May Cry is it where Dante says that? Which Devil May Cry does Dante say that? I'm trying to remember. Oh, hello? Yeah, the ironic thing is, like, I was actually trying there. Like, I was actually trying for most of that. Yeah, hello Yama. Everyone just seems to have an instinct of true monk. I mean, hey, I'd already been hit. I had already been hit, so it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. I mean, the title is still accurate. We haven't died twice yet. Monk completely fucks me up, but we haven't died twice. Yo, hello Flame Angel. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well too. Just doing some no reset runs, which are going pretty fucking bad, but it's called practice. I mean, I haven't died twice in a row, but I guess I have technically died twice. Like, needed to resurrect twice. Yeah, definitely not my greatest run. Oh, we're not going back to this, are we? Oh no. Please, no. Yeah, Will does not like Kuro, that's for sure. I honestly don't understand how you don't like him, Will. I swear, Yama, you're either the most, like, sane or the most unhinged person ever. Like, there isn't an in-between with you. You're either completely fine or just, like, super unhinged with everything. It's quite something. Elden Ring Yama DLC boss when? Bo did not want to jump in the air. Well, am I going to get hit by the fish? Kuro is the source of the dark soul. Ah, yes. The entire Dark Souls trilogy was just a prequel to Kuro. He is the true final boss. That's why there wasn't a Sekiro DLC. Because they would have had to put Kuro in it, and Kuro would have just been unbeatable as a boss. So they couldn't make one. He would have been too powerful. Where am I going? You cannot defeat Kuro. Okay, yeah, even Yama agrees with what I said. Even Yama agrees. I think there's just a switch that's just like, do I be completely fine, or am I just completely unhinged for a certain character today? Do I want to create havoc? Rank the gimmick bosses? Which gimmick bosses do you mean? Like Storm Ruler gimmick or just gimmick in general? Because gimmick in general involves like the entirety of Demon Souls. Like in general, gimmick is the entirety of Demon Souls. I was thinking like the main ones I can think of. Okay, honestly, my favourite like gimmick fight is... My favourite gimmick fight is Storm King from Demon Souls. But specifically the PS5 remake, not the original. Like the PS5 remake, because of like the extra graphics, you're actually fighting in a storm. Like it's actually a full-on storm and everything. And so that with the Storm Ruler, that is definitely my favourite. I think in terms of Storm Ruler like esque fights, I would put Storm King, Rykard, Divine Dragon, Yorm. I'm pretty sure that's all of them. Or like on repeat playthroughs, I put Yorm above Divine Dragon, just because Yorm is actually still a fight. But first playthrough, I put Divine Dragon above Yorm. I mean, Vikard is a gimmick fight. The whole point is you use a specific weapon to fight it. Like... I mean, I wouldn't say Abyss Watchers is a gimmick. I think it's difficult to, like, say what a gimmick is versus just... Like, what's a gimmicky mechanic and what is just, like, an extra mechanic? I would say a gimmick is something that completely changes the way you're supposed to fight the boss. Like, with Abyss Watchers, you can use the third Watcher to help you fight the boss, but you don't need to, you know. Whereas, like, Storm Ruler, you need to use it. I'm dead. I got greedy. I mean, but, like, you're still supposed... Yeah, just because you don't need to use Storm Ruler doesn't mean that it's not intended. Like, it is intended to use Storm Ruler. Like, the point of the fight is that you use Storm Ruler, so I would call it a gimmick fight. Just because you know, just because you don't need to use Serpent Hunter for Rykard doesn't mean that you're not supposed to use Serpent Hunter. Like, same thing with Storm King and Demon Souls. Like, you don't need to use the Storm Ruler, you can just use magic, but like, you're intended to use the Storm Ruler and it's the better experience, I would say. But there are a lot of, like... And then obviously stuff like... I'm trying to think of what they're called. Like Tower Knight and One Reborn. Like, they have a gimmick to them. I mean, they're both similar in the sort of way that you want to get rid of all the ads, but you're not required to. I mean, like, I'd say gimmick is something that it changes the way you're supposed to do the fight, or like it changes the fight from the sort of typical boss, and there's like an implied, like, intended, quote unquote intended way to fight that specific boss, but it's not required. Yeah, you can use Mortal Draw to like hit the dragon instead of the lightning. Because the threshold for dragon to go to phase 2 is just based on its like HP and posture. So you can just use Mortal Draw to hit that threshold. But again, I'd still say they're all gimmick fights. Like, just because you're not... You know, just because there isn't a boss where you are like hard required to use that thing doesn't mean it isn't a gimmick fight. Well, in actual fact, you know, it's not exactly super viable to just beat Divine Dragon with like your normal sword. Yeah, that's only phase 1. Like, second phase, you just dodge. No, you don't actually have to agility. Like I mean, maybe I can try and show you after the run, but you can use Mortal Draw. Like, on some of the dragon's attacks, you can hit it with the Mortal Draw, and it does vitality and posture damage. And you can use that to get it into its second phase, where it does like its big combo. And then you just use like the one lightning at the end for the death blow. Because that one lightning at the very end is scripted. But like the 5 pillars of lightning, where you like return them, isn't actually required. But again, it's heavily implied and it's like the intended way to do the fight, so I'd say it's a gimmick. Demon Souls, just about every boss is a gimmick in some way. Like Adjudicator, you're supposed to hit its cut to knock it down so you can get to its head, which is the bit that actually takes damage. Old Hero is blind. You know, what else is there? Obviously stuff like Leechmonger with the fire or the healing, whatever, Maiden Astraya. Old Monk. Fool's Idol. Like most of the Demon Souls bosses have some sort of like intended weakness. Like, this is the way you're supposed to fight it. You know, you're supposed to exploit this specific weakness to fight it. You can fight it normally, but this is how we want you to do it, basically. Is the way most of the Demon Souls bosses go. I think Yorm is a decent... I honestly think Yorm is, like, good enough size-wise the way it is. Because, like, the main issue with Fire Giant is you can't see what the fuck it's doing because it's off camera. But Yorm is, like, large enough that he's intimidating, but he's small enough that he actually stays on camera and you can see what he's doing. This just makes him better than Fire Giant. Because Fire Giant is just a fight with the camera. I say Yorm is definitely smaller than Fire Giant, or at least he feels way smaller than Fire Giant. But say you can actually keep Yorm on camera, so you can actually like read what the fuck he's doing. And saying then, as said, like Fire Giant, you can't see what he's doing half the time because he's off camera. Because like when he lifts his foot up to stomp on you, his foot goes off camera. Or like with the bowl thing, it goes off camera, so... You know, but Yorm you can actually see. What, Phase 2 Fire Giant or Yorm? I mean, Phase 2 Fire Giant is smaller because he doesn't have legs, but... It's also the more bullshit phase. because it just gets rid of a weak point. Or it gets rid of any viable weak point. Like, yeah, sure, let's make the weak point of this boss its hands that you can hit for all of like 1 second every minute. And then let's just give the entire rest of its body super high resistance. So the fight is going to take 10 hours, plus it has super high damage, nigh on insta-kill shit. If it's not obvious, I'm not the biggest fan of Fire Giant. But say, I mean, that's also kind of what I'm worried about in, like, with the Fire, like, DLC boss thing. It basically just looks like it might have the same issues as Fire Giant. I mean, I can kind of see the argument that he's like a version of Lawrence. I'd say Demon is more Lawrence than Fire Giant. Like, Fire Giant is more like projectile spam in a way. Projectile spam and never giving you a chance to fucking hit it. Yeah, Demon of Hatred is basically just a better Lawrence. And like, I still wouldn't say Demon of Hatred is amazing, but it's definitely better than Lawrence. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, like, yeah, Lawrence is basically just a worse Demon of Hatred. Unironically, I mean, definitely my least favourite Bloodborne DLC boss, like, without question. I mean, his music is my favourite track in the game, but the actual fight itself is definitely my least favourite Bloodborne DLC boss. Like, I've never been a fan of Lawrence. That was my fault. I'd say before learning this run, the only time I would fight Demon of Hatred would be when I'm literally getting him stuck in the corner and running him off a cliff. I never actually like fought him straight up. Yeah, the other thing with Fire Giant is to be at a distance where you can actually see what he's doing, all of your like ranged attacks are out of range, except for like bows, potentially. Yeah, Usama, I'd say Living Failures is better than Lawrence. Like, unironically, I prefer Living Failures. Because, like, the thing with Living Failures is they're easy. Like, they're easy and they're nothing special, but there's nothing inherently wrong with them. Like, they're nothing special, but there's nothing, like, actually bad about them, in my opinion. I just did an oopsie. I need money. Favourite BB base game? I honestly don't know. Like maybe... I don't know, maybe like Shadows or Amelia. Or even a Briotas. Okay, here's the thing with the Briotas. I absolutely suck at the fight and I don't know how to dodge the charge attack, but I actually really like the fight. Okay, at least Yama has a like correct opinion here. A fellow Shadows of Yharnam enjoyer. Fellow Shadow enjoyer. Someone who actually understands that it's a good boss and it's a well-designed gank fight. So why can't I ever do this jump? Why can I never do this jump? I never even remember where you're supposed to jump from. I always just kind of like run at this and hope. There we go. Yeah, Shadows is a pretty intimidating boss, in fairness. Like, I think just from the fact of, like... I mean, obviously, like, you can tell the arena's a boss, but when you walk in, you see, like, 3 health bars show up at the bottom of the screen. I think that part just makes it pretty intimidating. Just 3 health bars. Yeah, I also really liked the Brotherhood fights in Liza P. I think a lot of people actually really don't like them, but I honestly think they were pretty good. Again, for like 3v1, 4v1 bosses, for like 3v1, 4v1 boss fights, I think Brotherhood is pretty damn well designed. Wait, what do they do with the final boss then? Did they... So I haven't played Liza P since like December. What did they do? Oh, they gave it... Oh, okay. Wait, I think that was one of the attacks that gave me the most issues in my 200% run. Like, Nameless Puppet in my 200% run took me, I think, like over an hour real time. And that was one of the most annoying attacks. So if they actually like fixed it and telegraphed it, that's pretty good. Honestly, Liza P devs have been so fucking good with like listening to the community and fixing shit. You know, like with the rising dodge thing, where a ton of people's main complaint was like, you know, why is this unlockable so far into the game? It should just be like a standard thing. So they were just like, oh yeah, hey, we're making this just a standard ability that you always have. And like, and they've also, I think they also changed some stuff with Manus. Like made Manus a bit more like viable. Like Liza P devs have been so fucking based when it comes to making changes. I've heard that the Wolong weapon is like pretty good, but I haven't actually tried it out myself. So I haven't actually played Lies of P since like December. So I haven't actually tried it out myself. But I've heard it's pretty good. Or like from what I've seen. I mean, that's another thing I like about Lies of P. Like there are, like a lot of weapons have the potential to be very, very good. I mean, obviously the customization itself also just allows a lot of like creativity and fun factor. But in terms of actual like damage, a lot of weapons can be very good. It's not like these one or two weapons are just unquestionably better than everything else. You know, like in Elden Ring, you kind of have... You have like Uchi Katana, Bloodhound Fang, Blasphemous Blade, Serpent Hunter, and then everything else, you know? Like there's a definite like, these weapons are better than the rest. I like that in Lies of P that there is more of a split. Also, I guess in Bloodborne, because of like the blood gem stuff, there's much more of a sort of split as like what is good and what isn't. Yeah, the two dragon sword is so fucking cool. That's what I used in my 200% run of Lies of P for the last 3 bosses. I think I might have also used it for Brotherhood. I can't exactly remember. But it's such a fun fucking weapon. It's definitely one of my favourite, like, katanas in games. Oh shit, I'm using the wrong. Yeah, the parry is so much fun to do. I think my favourite katana in a game, like, if you can count it, because it's, you know, it's not like a weapon that you pick, it's just given to you, is the Yamato from DMC5. Like, that's probably my favourite one, but I say that's not like, you know, DMC5 isn't obviously an RPG that you pick weapons, it's just given to you as your kit. But it is a very fucking fun weapon. Yeah, 2 Dragon Sword is so much fun. Especially on someone like Laxasia. Like, parrying Laxasia is so much fun. Especially like her big fury attack in phase 2. Salamander dagger, interesting. I remember using that for a bit against some of the earlier bosses. I mean, it was fun, yeah. I think just like I wasn't a massive fan because of how short the range is. That's because of how short the range is. I'm not such a big fan. But I think 2 Dragons is definitely my favourite in Lies of P. Wait, when did Laxasia get nerfed? Wait, what the fuck? I've never heard of her being nerfed. When did that happen? Wait, was I fighting a nerfed version of Laxasia or not? Holy I need to fucking go and play Liza P again. What? When did she get nerfed? Like, what patch? Because, like, honestly, I've never heard of her being nerfed. I mean, in fairness, she is fucking difficult. Like, phase 2 Laxasia, I cannot do for my life. Oh, they just fixed her animations. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I've never heard of her being nerfed. That's the thing, I've never beaten phase 2 Laxasia, like, legitimately. I've never beaten it without some sort of, like, insta-kill script type thing. I've never actually done it with, like, actually having to learn the moveset and dodge everything. Oh, they just made attacks more visible. That's okay then. I say Laxasia I've only beaten with, like, scripts and things in phase 2. Like, phase 1 I'm completely fine at. Phase 1 is fine, but phase 2 is crazy difficult. Because you can use 2 dragons to basically script the entire fight. Because, like, the way you beat Laxasia with 2 dragons is you bring Acid Abrasive and I think, like, 4 Thermites. Basically, at the start of the phase, you use the Abrasive, you throw the 4 Thermites, you deflect the 6 Lightning Orbs, charge R2 parry the Fury attack, unload all of your Fable Arts, and then do another charge R2, and that staggers her, and then you do the riposte and she's dead. Like, the only times I've beaten Laxasia phase 2 is just scripting it like that. Because I cannot deal with any of her moves in that phase. I mean, I'm still not, like, super worried about Father Owl, but I'm definitely, like, not as confident on it as I used to be. You know, I still can no-hit Father Owl, but I'm not as... You know, I used to be like, oh yeah, 10 out of 10, like 100%, this is like a guaranteed no-hit. You know, now it's more of like a 60, 70%. So I'm still confident, but nowhere near as confident. Yeah, he's one of the only bosses I haven't actually been hit on. In fairness, we didn't get hit on Screen Monkeys. We didn't get hit on Screen Monkeys or Fake Monk or Lady Butterfly. Like, those hits were stuff before the boss, not the actual boss themselves. I'd say I got hit once on Gyobu. I got hit once on Gyobu, got absolutely decimated by True Monk. Got hit once from a bit of like unfortunate timing on Dragon. Once to Greed on Demon. I think that's all of them. Yeah, so I mean, I didn't get hit by that. I mean, I know 10 hits looks really bad, but it honestly wasn't that much. I mean, say not exactly amazing. Not exactly amazing, but I mean, it was a no reset. Yeah, the hardest bosses in the game were the ones I didn't get hit on. Although, I mean, yeah, I did get hit once on Demon, but as I said, that was me being, like, super greedy. Like I said, I think a solid, like, 6 of those hits were greed, but... So I'll probably just do another no reset. But I think I just kind of need to be racking up like full runs instead of just like individual segments. If I can just get a ton of full runs done. I'd say I'll probably like I'll do a no reset here and then maybe end it after that. I don't know. I'd say I'll probably end it after this no reset, but it depends. Because, I mean, let's see, that will take me to about 7 PM, so... There definitely wouldn't be another run after that, it just depends if there's anything else. I say it's a no reset. If I get hit before Gyobu, then I will reset. Like once we make it to Gyobu, then we'll just do the full run. Ideally, I'd make it past Gyobu, but we'll see. Well, I mean, in fairness, like, getting hit early on is good and bad. Like, it's good because there's no, you know, there's no real sense of pressure or anything, and that you can just sort of do the run and practice stuff because there's no worry about getting hit anymore. But also kind of, getting hit early on kind of feels like you should be resetting, you know, in case you do actually, like, get the run. You know, if you don't get hit to any of the stuff later on, then it's going to feel a bit, like, stupid having a really good run and then just a random hit to, like, Genicha or something at the very beginning. So it's kind of difficult to, like, say if I want to like reset or not, but or like if you reset early or not, but I think this is just no reset. So I'm definitely a very like reset heavy person. Like both with like Hitless and also when I used to do speed runs. But I'm very much make one mistake and reset. You know, you make one mistake early on and just start again. Regardless if regardless if you have like 5 minutes of time saved later on in a run. You know, I made a mistake in the first like 2 minutes, reset. Like, I remember when I used to run like Zelda Twilight Princess HD, I would have like 10 minutes of time saving. It's a 3.5 hour run, and I would have like 10 minutes of time saving the final hour. But then I would start the run again because I lost like 2 minutes in the first half an hour of the run. Is there a reason I do speedrunning moves without a timer? I mean, it's not speedrun just because it's a no-hit. Like I'm not like deliberately trying to go fast in a sense, you know? I'm not deliberately doing a speedrun. It's just that these moves or like these certain things that I do are what I know best. You know, they're what I know best or like most comfortable with. And also, even if this isn't like a proper speed run per se, I still like doing it quickly, you know? I said I'm not interested in using a timer or anything because it's not a speed run, but I still want to do it quickly. And yeah, there's a lot of like speedrun stuff that I do just because that's what I know. Because say before I learned no hit, I did do some speedruns of this game. Like I wasn't incredible by any means, but I was decent, you know, I knew what I was doing. I'm definitely nowhere near top level, but so I knew what I was doing and could do like tricks and glitches and stuff pretty well. I mean, in fairness though, I think I've actually taken out a lot of the speedrun aspects of this as time's gone on. You know, there are a lot of speed aspects in this run that I used to do, and then I would get hit by it like once, and I would take it out and replace it with a much, you know, a slower but much safer approach. You know, like I used to do the canyon jumps here to save like 5 seconds, or I would just do dojo skip without resting at the idle because, you know, because it's faster. But then I started getting hit a couple of times by one of the like nightjar people. Started getting hit by one of the nightjar people when climbing up, so decided to begin resting at the idle to reset their aggro and, you know, this sort of stuff. So I still do elements of it, but I've taken a lot of them out for, you know, to prioritize safety over speed. Yeah, you can't exactly go slow through a ton of enemies either. Although in fairness, a lot of the bosses I still fight like the speedrun way. Like a lot of the bosses, I just fight them straight up. You know, while they would be way safer going and picking up certain items or buffs or this or skills or this sort of thing, I still just, you know, run into the arena to fight them. like someone like True Monk or Ape, it would be much safer getting something like Firecrackers or Spear or, you know, the Ash for True Monk, but I prefer fighting them this way. I think like Firecrackers would be one of the best things for this run, but I just don't pick them up. Because I prefer just fighting the majority of bosses straight up. I mean, that's the thing, like, on the one hand, you could argue that if I actually went and got all the safety things, I would have already gotten this run, you know, but it would be quite boring, in my opinion. Like, my route of this run takes about an hour 45 real time. My route of this it's about an hour 45. You know, I could bump that up to like 2.5, 3 hours and be super safe with every single boss, every single area. And yeah, I probably would, if that were the case, I may have already gotten this run, you know? If that were the case, I may have already done this. But I still prefer fighting a lot of the bosses just straight up. Because that's, you know, because I still enjoy playing Sekiro, and that's what I enjoy. Also, hello Ratchet. Hope you're doing okay. Good to see you. I say like that's, you know, my favourite part of games are the boss fights. So even though it's not the safest way, I prefer actually doing the boss fight in the majority of situations rather than coming up with some like guaranteed or like cheesy way. Like there are still bosses I cheese, but that's also like a speed reason. Like I cheese Genichiro, phase 1 of Ape and Fake Monk, right? But that's not just like to skip the phase. That's also because they're quicker. Like, it's faster to put Genichiro in the corner and do the cheese compared to fighting him normally. So there is also, like, a speed reason for that. Yeah, and ow, like, say some bosses I do cheeses for safety. You know, like Butterfly, get a shit ton of attack power to make it really easy so that I can kill her in a couple mortal draws. So some I do for safety, but a lot of them also have like a speed reason behind them. You know, nice Ratchet. But that's the thing, like, a longer run, like 2.5, 3 hours, I could definitely get more powerful. I could make sure I'm more set up, but that's the thing. On the one hand, I trust my skill enough. Like, I trust that I'm good enough at this game that I don't need that. And B, it means you get fewer attempts. You know, if I did that, did all the setup, and then made a mistake to that boss, I've just wasted more time than I would have done like on this run. You know, so it's hit or miss. I say some things I prioritize safety, some things I prioritize speed, some things I just prioritize playing the game and having fun, you know? It's a mix of all three. Okay, please hit a wall this time. Yeah, like Shinobi Owl with that. I'm actually so glad that anti-heal bombs don't count as a hit. Like Shinobi Owl with the anti-heal bomb casually is actually really annoying. Yeah, for no hit, luckily that doesn't count. His smoke bomb does, but the anti-heal doesn't. Yeah, but Butterfly Phase 2 is just a nightmare. Like that's why in my run I literally fight Demon of Hatred before Butterfly. Because I feel more confident fighting Demon of Hatred with like that attack power than I do fighting Butterfly with that attack power. Because Butterfly Phase 2 is a fucking nightmare to do no hit. And like the plan to deal with her illusions in Phase 2 Ratchet is just to kill her before she has a chance to summon them. Like the plan is get enough attack power and get strong enough that I can just kill her before she summons. Or like before the summons can do anything. Like that's how annoying she is. It's kind of like how in Elden Ring, even like 2 years after release, No Hit Runner's best strategy for Elden Stars is to just time a stagger so that Elden Beast never does Elden Stars. You know, the best way to dodge the attack is to never see it. Same with Lady Butterfly. The best way to avoid the summons is to kill her before she has a chance. I mean, I think that just comes with playing the game agility, you know, like if you've beaten a game like 20, 30, 40 times, you're not going to be too, like, you know, killing Ishin isn't going to be that big of a deal to you, or like beating the game isn't going to be that big of a deal. So you can just very quickly go straight back to the start. Because, you know, you've done it a ton of times before, so it's not really a thing. And I mean, that's what you see me do at the end of these runs. Like, I very rarely actually, quote-unquote, properly finish a run, as in get credits. You know, if it's not the actual run, I normally just kill Ishin and then quit out and try again. You know, I very rarely actually get the credits. Just because, say, I've beaten the game so many times at this point that it's not a big deal. Well, we actually got past Genichiro. I mean, I still like watching credits and things, but you know, if I'm actually just doing runs like this, I don't really pay attention. Like, if I do a casual playthrough of a game, I will still watch the credits. You know, like with Bloodborne on Saturday, you know, I've probably finished Bloodborne maybe like 10 times, and I'll still sit through and watch the credits because it was a casual playthrough. But for like speed runs and challenge runs, I don't really care because it's, you know, it's a different setting. You know, even Dark Souls 3, which I probably beaten like 30, 40 times, like casually, 30, 40 times. Still watch the credits. So it just depends on the situation. You've changed your mind now. Gehrman is your favourite final boss. Join the club of correct opinions. Like, nothing wrong with Ishin. He is a fucking incredible fight, but yeah, I prefer Gehrman as well. Gehrman's also my favourite final boss. I think also just like the setting of it as well. Like the setting in Hunter's Dream and also just the lore of it. You know, the fact it is basically two people trying to mercy kill each other. Two people trying to mercy kill each other, and then, I say, with the setting, with the moon, the music, the actual fight itself, like, it's definitely my favourite. Like the cutscene, the shot of the cutscene where after he stands up and you've got the shot of the two of you like staring at each other with the moon in the background, just staring at each other in the field. Like when he, like the final line he said, the final line he says is probably just my favourite line in a video game, just period. Like the "Tonight Gehrman joins the hunt." That's probably just my favourite line in a game, period. Like everything about that fight I fucking love. I mean, I'm pretty sure the true ending is the good ending. Because I'm pretty sure it breaks the cycle. Oh, okay, Will's back and we're talking about Bloodborne final boss shit. You've joined into the wrong conversation, Will. Oh no. Abort, but nah. just straight up tell him to go away. Just like, we're talking about Bloodborne, go away. Yeah, we're talking about like the final boss and endings, so I'd say the two main endings are just like variations of each other. It's in like who takes whose place, etc. Now I think the true ending is like typical sort of FromSoft ending where you break whatever cycle it is. You know, like with End of Fire in Dark Souls 3. Where you know, instead of continuing the cycle, you just sort of let it die out. I mean, you can... Like, they're not, like, the best endings, but I kind of feel like you could view either of those two endings as good endings. You know, depending on, like, what you wanted, I do think you could view them as good endings. You know, because either you're free or you freed someone else. You know, so... Like, in a way, I think you can sort of view them as good endings. Just with different outcomes to, like, the best ending, per se. Or, like, good endings, but you still continue a cycle. So it is a very, like, sort of thematically and, like, cinematically really cool final boss. Just the way, like, everything is set up for that fight. You know, because pretty much... Because, like, most final bosses are, you know, like, the epic clash. Like that's what Sword Saint is. It's supposed to be like the epic clash against like the strongest person you've met sort of thing. Which, not saying those aren't fun, like those are really fucking cool setups. But it's always nice to kind of see a final boss that isn't that like epic clash. And it's just kind of something more like sorrowful. I mean, that's the thing, like, Souls does it quite frequently in terms of, like, the, like, more... I'd say Souls does it more than most in terms of, like, the sort of melancholy final boss, but... Like I say, it still has Sword Saint, and I guess you could also argue that like Radagon Elden Beast kind of fall into like this more epic fight as well. So Soul of Cinder is kind of a mixture. I'd say the first part is the like big clash against every... I've been playing this game for 3 years, that dude has never hit me. In fact, I've been playing this game for more than 3 years, that dude has never hit me. Also, I forgot to fucking use a Gatchin. Cool. Yeah, it starts out like that really epic stuff, and then it gets more sad, and like you fight against Gwyn, and it's like the end of the fire and all this stuff. Dude, I don't know what I was supposed to do there. Like, you run past that dude in every single no-hit run. I have never been hit by him. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do for that. Other than just pray it doesn't happen again. I mean, I don't consider Gale a final boss. Like, I mean, sure, he's the last boss, but he's not a final boss. Okay, how do you actually fight the orange monkey normally? Oh. That was easy. I can't remember why Nishandra's evil. She's probably just like pissed off at Vendrick or something. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, the thing with Gale is I don't consider him a final boss. Like, sure, he's the last boss, but I don't think he's the final boss, you know? Like, he's just the last boss of the DLC. In my opinion. I honestly don't understand the people that like fight the final boss and then go and do like DLC after the final boss with the actual final boss and end on credits. Like I get it. I get it for speed runs. You know, when you want to fight the final boss for a ton of money and then so you get super overpowered. Like that's to be quick, but I don't understand why. Like, I don't get people who, you know, always like fight the final boss and do the base game and everything and then do the DLC. I mean, yeah, he's final in terms of timeline. I just don't consider him like the final boss of DS3 or like a final boss of DS3. You do that? I mean, my statement still stands. Like, I don't get it. Like, why would you not like end your playthrough with final boss and credits? Like, kind of feels weird just to like beat a random boss and then just be like, oh, my playthrough's done now and quit out, you know? That just seems odd to me. I mean, so that's what I do. Like, I do all the DLC and then I go back and fight the final boss, so that I end the playthrough with the final boss. But that's what I do. But you know, obviously it's different if the DLC isn't out. Like you know, in Elden Ring, like obviously you're gonna finish the game, but okay, but like once Elden Ring DLC is out, if I were going to do a casual playthrough of Elden Ring, I would do most of the base game, then I would do the DLC, and then I would go back and fight the final boss. You know, I wouldn't do the base game and beat the final boss and then go back and then go and do DLC. I would do the DLC first, you know? Obviously you can't do that if the game doesn't have DLC yet. Like, yeah, in Demon Souls, I guess Demon Souls doesn't have a DLC. In Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne, you have to do that. But in DS2, DS3, and I'm assuming Elden Ring, you won't have to do that. So I just think it's odd not like ending with the final boss. It doesn't quite feel the same way to me. I think just ending the game with a quit out. So like say in DS1 and Bloodborne, New Game Plus just starts automatically upon killing the final boss. So, you know, in those ones you have to, but I mean, like, yeah, DLCs are normally like the hardest content and like the highest scaled content, but you know, like, I don't know, but they're normally like similar to final boss level, or maybe slightly higher, but I still feel like you should do the DLCs and then the final boss. And say I have an Elden Ring file that I've done a bit casually. Should probably do some more of it, but I'm just like playing through some of the game to like set up the DLC file. So I'm also just like really bad at all the Catacombs bosses. But the main game bosses I'm pretty good at, but Catacombs stuff I'm not. So like my whole plan for the DLC is to go in with a file that is like well-rounded. Like obviously also just have a fuck ton of larval tears for respecs, but to go in with like basically 25 in every stat, or you know, something around there so that you can use the most weapons or sorceries and things. You know, if like a dex weapon comes up that has like a 20 faith requirement, you can still try it out to see what it's like. Or a strength weapon with a like 15 int requirement, you can still try it out. But that's my like plan for what I'm gonna do. That said, also just having a fuck ton of larval tears to respec a bunch. Oh my god, make the jump, please. The biggest bosses in DS1, 2, and 3? Oh no. I mean, I assume Ancient Dragon is on there. I don't think they would all be DS3 bosses. I honestly don't think Mid-Ear isn't actually that big of a boss, I don't think. Like, as far as dragons, not Mid-Ear, Calamite, I mean. Like, as far as dragons go, Calamite I think is actually pretty small. I feel like Ancient Dragon would probably be on that list. Are there any, like... Well, Ceaseless Discharge. I completely forgot about that. Like, surely Ceaseless Discharge would also be on there. And I'm not sure how you would... There's no way Calamite is the biggest DS1 boss. Like, Calamite seems really small to me. Okay, but, I mean, the thing with Bed of Chaos is you could argue, like, what is the actual, like, boss? Like, sure, like, the entire, like, tree structure, sure, but... Like, the actual, like, boss that has the health bar is just the tiny bug in the center. So... Like, depends on what you actually, like, argue that the Bed of Chaos boss actually is. So it's Ceaseless, probably Seath. So it depends on what you argue for Bed of Chaos. I'd imagine Ancient Dragon is on there. Mid-Ear, probably Yorm. What other like big DS3 bosses are there? Because like, I can't think. I mean, is Demon Prince that big? I don't feel like Demon Prince is actually that big of a boss. I'm not convinced that King of the Storm would be on there, actually. Like Freya, potentially. Old Iron King, potentially. Like Sin, potentially. Like there's a lot of things that maybe could, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Sin is larger than Calamite though. Also, where am I going? What did I grapple on? Okay, hold on. Let me just get something straight quickly. My camera is like this. I am running this way. I jump and I press L2. And instead of grappling to this one here, it grapples me down to that one. Like, what is Sekiro? What actually is Sekiro? No, Will, have you... I thought you said Sin was like your favourite boss or something. As in the dragon Sin. In the DLC. The Ancient Wyvern's probably on there. I honestly forgot about that. I mean, the thing with Rolnir is that like Rolnir doesn't actually have a body. Or like Rolnir doesn't have any legs, I should say. Okay, how do you want me to pronounce the H, Will? Like, it's Sin. Old Demon King would definitely not be on that list. There's no chance Old Demon King is on that list. What the fuck are you trying to get? Why would you pronounce it like that, Will? There's no... Yeah, Old Demon King is tiny. Shit. Like, Old Demon King is not that big. He's like standard boss height. He really is not bigger than Old Iron King. He really isn't. No, the Carthus Sandworm isn't a boss. I never said Old Demon King would be on the list. I said Old Iron King might be, but I never said Demon King. Say, old Demon King is like normal boss size. What about the 10 smallest bosses then? What about the fucking smallest bosses? Definitely King Alant in Demon Souls. Bed of Chaos if you like only count the actual bug. Probably Witches in Bloodborne. And after that, it would probably just be a ton of like normal, like human-sized bosses. Wait, we didn't even consider Gaping Dragon for like the large bosses. I can't remember how big that is. I can't remember how big Gaping Dragon is. I'd say it'd probably just be like after those couple ones, just any sort of NPC fight. I mean, it could be Wyvern level. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about Gaping Dragon. I think for smallest bosses, Screen Monkeys would be on there if you like went for each individual monkey, you know? Like King Alant, Bed of Chaos, Witches, Screen Monkeys. Now I'm kind of struggling to sort of name anything that's like smaller than human size. I mean, that's the thing, if you are counting like individual things, stuff like Rat Vanguard, I guess. I think like individual bosses, maybe Rat Vanguard. Even though there's a shit ton of rats, it's like the actual boss itself. No, we definitely mentioned Yorm. Probably like right at the start. Hmm. So I don't think there were that many like small bosses though. Like there aren't that many, to be fair. There's only like 4 or 5. So yeah, I mean, originally we talked about gimmick fights and like what is considered a gimmick, but which is where Yorm came up, but then we just kind of moved it into like the largest bosses. And that's it. It also depends on how you define smallest. Like Lost Sinner is probably like normal height, but she hunches over. So I don't know. I guess it was final boss first, and then like gimmicks and stuff. So Lost Sinner's hunched over, so I don't know how you would count that. Or like how you would count stuff like Magus and Congregation. Because like Magus is human sized, but Congregation, each of them are tiny. I see, it depends on how you count them all. I'd say it just depends. Like you could make a case for probably quite a lot of bosses depending on how you define like smallest, especially for like multi-bosses. Because of course you could also at the same time make the argument that because Congregation is like 10 enemies, it's actually not that small. I mean, it wasn't really a scary fight yesterday. Like maybe you almost died, but it really wasn't a scary fight. I think Rat Authority is one of the biggest in DS2. Let's think about this. Sin, Ancient Dragon. I'm trying to think of like what is definitely bigger. Sin, Ancient Dragon, probably Old Iron King, Freya. Did I get that money or no? Honestly, maybe they are. Because like the actual authority itself is actually decently sized. Am I going to play Rise of the Ronin? So I haven't really looked at it. Like I might consider it, but I don't know. I'll consider it. So I haven't really seen that much about it. I was going to look at some of the trailers, but I still haven't. Like the things of it that I have actually seen looked pretty interesting. So maybe. I think it's difficult to say. It's a PS5 exclusive. That doesn't bother me. I mean, maybe I might, but we'll have to see. Do you know if it has like physical stuff or if it's digital only? I don't know if you would know or not, but I mean, that's the thing. I'll probably watch some trailers and then decide. Because I haven't really watched any of the trailers. Like, if it looks interesting, then I probably will, to be fair. And it also kind of seems like a nice idea to maybe always have like a casual game in the background. You know, like mixed in with all the challenge runs and stuff, maybe always maybe having a casual game in the background is like not a bad idea. Something that I can always just go to if I don't feel like doing challenge at the moment. So I'll probably watch some trailers after stream and see what I think. As I said, I haven't really seen enough of it to make a proper like informed decision yet. Oh, saving for PS5? Nice. Yeah, I mean, like, if you can get it, like, that's it. It depends on how good the game actually is, but you just want to watch me play something blind. Fair enough, I mean, yeah. Because the only casual playthroughs I've done here are DS2 and Bloodborne, which I've played before, so... I mean, I guess it is also like the hardware upgrades. So I said, I don't have a PS4. I completely skipped that generation. I don't have a PS4 or Xbox One. And also when I got my PS5, it was like a massive upgrade to my PC at the time. So for me, PS5 was like massive upgrades to everything I own. So it was like a very good purchase for me. So I've never played an Assassin's Creed game. Like in the sort of local like game stores I always see them. They're selling some of like the earlier ones for like £1.50 each or something. But I've just never bought them. I mean, I'll say we had PS3 and 360, and I played 360 all the time, and all of my friends, like, we didn't, like, very few of us actually got an Xbox One. Like, a lot of us just stayed with the 360, so we all still, like, chatted to each other and all this stuff. Like, some of my friends had an Xbox One, but we never really... I just never really saw the need. But that's the thing, if you don't have a PC, it's like a very different matter. As I said, when I got the PS5, like my PC struggled to run Dark Souls 3. Like my old PC struggled to run DS3. So me getting the PS5 was a like massive upgrade. And it meant I can actually play games. Like play games on like decent settings. I mean, at least my new PC now is, I mean, it's not new anymore, but at least this PC is, like, pretty decent. I mean, it can actually run stuff, so... You're gonna go find size comparisons of all the bosses. Oh my god. Jeez, have fun with that, I guess. Casual playthrough, I always go frame rate. Like, I'm honestly not... I'm not really a massive like graphics nerd or like graphics fan. Like, you know, sure it looks nice, but I'm not that much of a like sort of not that picky when it comes to graphics. Like, you know, I would happily go and play a game that had like Ocarina of Time graphics if it was 60 FPS. Like, graphics really do not bother me. I'm definitely more frame rate. It's like for a lot of PS5 games, it's normally it's like 1080p 60 or 4K 30, and I always go 1080p 60. So like some people like really prefer graphics and like ray tracing and all this sort of stuff. Honestly, I don't really pay enough like attention to detail to like for that to bother me. And like in fairness, I have got Sekiro on 4K right now. Like, I mean, the stream is 1080p, but I'm playing right now in 4K. But I mean, this is 4K 60 FPS. Like, I can run Sekiro. Like, the main priority for me is the 60 FPS, and then graphics comes after. So, you know, like, if I had to, I would drop this down to 1080p to keep the frame rate, but, you know, I don't have to, so... But that's the thing, like, yes, it looks nice, and also, you know, if I keep like flipping between 4K and 1080p, like in the settings, yes, I will see the difference. Like, I will see the difference if I keep just flipping between the two. But if I'm just like playing a game, I can't really tell that much of a difference. You know, I couldn't just like look at a game and go, oh yeah, that's 1080p, or like, what the fuck did my game just do? Or, you know, or like, oh, that's 1440p or something. What? Okay, now that we just started talking about frame rates and things, my game has decided to kill itself. Hello? Like I say, I'm playing in 4K at the moment, but... yeah, Bloodborne needs 60 FPS. Bloodborne definitely needs it. Dude, I do not know what just happened to my game. That's it. Yeah, I feel like 60 FPS should be like a minimum now. But that's the thing, like, I never understand that with companies, or like, where for whatever reason, you know, I don't know if it's like a licensing reason or a legal reason or whatever that certain like really beloved games don't get remasters. You know, when it's just like a free money button. Like Bloodborne Remastered is a free money button. You know, or like Nintendo putting Wind Waker and Twilight Princess onto the Switch is just a free money button. You know, like it's difficult for me to understand like why those sorts of things don't happen. Like there probably is some weird reason, but you know, it just seems odd to me when like there are plenty of people that would buy that stuff. You know, like I own 4 copies of Zelda Twilight Princess. I would quite happily buy a 5th copy if it came to Switch, you know. It's a free money button for Nintendo. Same thing with Bloodborne for Sony and FromSoft. So they always seem weird why it's like not done. Yeah, that's the thing, like, I would absolutely get a 3rd is the thing. So I have the GameCube version, I have the Wii version, and then I have the digital Wii U version and the physical Wii U version. But say I would still absolutely buy a 5th if it was like released on Switch or something. Same thing with the case of like I own 2 copies of Wind Waker. I have Wind Waker GameCube and Wind Waker HD. If it came to Switch, I would buy a 3rd. You know, good luck on the Deathless run, Ratchet. Hopefully this will be the run. Good luck. But say it's just that sort of thing that I don't understand why it hasn't been done. In fairness, I only own 1 copy of Skyward Sword. Like, in fairness, I don't own the HD version of Skyward Sword, so... like, I guess it's kind of restrained. But then again, I own... okay, technically I have 3 copies of Majora's Mask. Technically. Because I have 2 copies of the 3DS version. I have an opened one, and then I have a sealed one that came with like the special edition. And then I also have like the technically part is that it's on the like GameCube Zelda Collector's Edition. So it's like technically I own it, but it's not like an actual like copy of Majora's Mask. Yeah, I've thought about getting the Switch version because like, I really want to replay Skyward Sword again. So it's probably my 3rd favourite Zelda. I do really want to replay it again, but I just haven't. You know, so maybe I will get it at some point. Took 11 years for Demon's Souls Remake. I mean, true, but at the same time it took, what, 7 years for Dark Souls Remastered, so... and Bloodborne's, what, 9? Pretty sure Bloodborne's 9. Or, like, about to turn 9. I'm not entirely sure exactly when it released. So we can pray that we'll get something Bloodborne. I say if Bloodborne came to PC, I just want to see like what the modding community would do. Like, imagine the fucking mods you could do with it. 24th of March, okay. Yes, it's like a week and a half off being 9, so... What day is the 24th of March? Out of curiosity. It is a Sunday. Guess what we might be doing the 24th of March for a bonus stream? I don't know, I just... I mean, we could, but wait, is it a Friday? Am I dumb? Wait, the 13th is a Wednesday, so the 20th is a Wednesday. So 21st is Thursday, 22nd is Friday. No, it is a Sunday, yeah. I'll see if I'm around on Sunday the 24th, and if I am, there may be a bonus stream. There may be a bonus stream. Hey, we could do the fucking chalices that I didn't do on Saturday. We could do all the bloody chalices, I don't know. Don't spoil BB for you again, oh no. I'm giving you ample warning time. They're like, come on, Will, you have 11 days to finish the game. And like you've already seen all the bosses, you already know where to go, so it can't take that long, right? You know what you're doing. Okay, this might be the dumbest thing I've ever done, but I actually... This is how certain of a PS5, this is how certain that I was getting a PS5 I was. So, as said, so the PS5 came out in November 2020. I did not own a PS4, so I had no way to play like Bloodborne or anything. I got my PS5 order on, it was like the 21st, 22nd of Jan 2021. But I was so confident that I would be able to get a PS5 that on like the 10th or 11th of Jan, I literally bought like Bloodborne, Demon Souls Remake, Code Vein, I literally bought some PS4 and 5 games before I owned a PS4 or 5. That was how confident I was that I'd be able to get one. In hindsight, probably like a super dumb decision, given how difficult they were to get at that time, but yeah, it paid off. I mean, I really enjoy Code Vein. It has its issues, that's for sure. It definitely has its issues, but I really enjoy it. But it's not... I think for a lot of people, it's hit or miss. But I think the areas on the most part are a bit kind of mediocre. The bosses are pretty decent, but so I think the areas are a bit mediocre. But I think, personally, my biggest issue with Code Vein are all numbers. I wasn't paying attention there, that's why I got hit. I was looking at chat. My biggest issue with Code Vein is numbers. As in, bosses do too much damage. The amount your heal, actually heals your HP, bosses do too much damage. And for the speed at which bosses and enemies attack, your heal takes too long. Is basically my biggest complaints. It's all just fixing numbers or animation lengths. So basically, in Code Vein, you get, let's say, 10 heals, roughly. It varies throughout the game or what you use, but you get roughly 10 heals. a heal will restore 30-40% of your HP. And bosses with like their normal like standard attack will take off like 60-70%. Also, I died. So like you don't heal enough. And then as far as actual heal time goes, it takes way too long. Like, so basically the way it works, I could see a boss like doing an attack and I'm like, okay, I'm not in range of this attack, so it's safe for me to heal. You know, I'm not in range of this attack, so I can heal. So I press the heal button. Once I press the heal button, in the time it takes me to heal and be able to dodge again, the boss can finish its like attack it's currently doing. It can wait to do the next attack. It can telegraph the next attack and then actually do that attack and hit me, all in the time it takes me to do this one heal. But say basically, my biggest complaint is the healing takes too long and it doesn't heal enough for the amount of damage bosses do. And that's my main complaint. I mean, the heal isn't worse than Dark Souls, it's more the fact that the bosses do more damage. Like, the heal isn't worse, but the bosses do more, which in turn makes the heal less valuable. Because you're gonna need to heal, like, twice more frequently than you would in, say, Dark Souls. You know, good job, Ratchet. If you can get Demon Deathless, that's pretty good for Deathless runs. Like, being confident that you can do that is very good. But say, if they, like, made a Code Vein sequel or something, I would be absolutely buying it. But, like, as I said, Code Vein is a bit more hit or miss. It definitely depends on the player. Let's say, personally, I would recommend it. Although the only thing I would say about Code Vein is, if you are going to get it, do not buy the DLCs. Like, just get the base game and play the base game. Do not bother with the DLC. Like, I only bought them on Steam because I could get, like, the entire, like, game and DLC for, like, £5 because there was a massive sale. I mean, the thing with the Code Vein DLCs is that they're not, like, a proper DLC. Like, you can tell that it was basically, like, corpo, like, people like this game, give us more money DLC. To explain it in, like, Bloodborne terms, so you know you have the chalices in Bloodborne. So there's this place in Code Vein called the Depths, which is effectively like the chalices in Bloodborne. And the DLCs are pretty much just like 3 more Chalice Dungeon maps. It's like you can tell that it wasn't really like a dev's choice and that it was like Bandai, people like this game, so just make content, you know? I mean, I'd probably guess better Chaos will, unless we're counting that as like something different. If not, maybe like, I don't know, Bell Gargoyles. I mean, I would still argue that it's better Chaos. Because like the actual boss itself is tiny. I guess Gwendolyn makes sense. Wait, I've done it again. I didn't buy the fucking scrap iron. Is Gwyn really smaller than gargoyles? That seems kind of odd. I would have thought the Gwyn was bigger than gargoyles. So I swear gargoyles are actually quite small. Okay, now I'm more curious as to like where gargoyles actually are on the list. Because I assume they would have been like quite near the bottom. Dude, why can I never do this jump now? Oh, gargoyles are 6th, okay. I assume they like count Bed of Chaos as like the entire thing and not just the bug in the middle. Because if you just count Bed of Chaos as the actual thing with the health bar, then like surely Bed of Chaos is smallest. Bed of Chaos, Gwendolyn, Gwyn Artorias, Ornstein, Gargoyles. Okay. Gargoyles are bigger than I thought they were then. Interesting. I don't remember them being that big. I mean, they're still quite small, but yeah, bigger than I thought they were. I also did just kind of like completely forget that Gwendolyn existed. So whoops. And then Pinwheel, okay. Yeah, I guess like a lot of the smaller bosses in Dark Souls 1 kind of seem like similar size. Oh yeah, Gwyndolin's a lot larger in DSV because of Aldrich just eating him. Because you've got all the sludge trail. No, Aldrich doesn't have a face. Aldrich is literally just like the sludge. Okay. And Calamite is 8 meters. Yeah, okay, yeah, gaping bigger than Calamite makes sense. Because, yeah, I always thought Calamite was quite small for a dragon. I don't know, to be honest, Will. I mean, like, Aldrich is the sludge. Like, Gwendolyn is the stuff on top, so... I don't know if Aldrich was, like, always sludge, or... I assume Aldrich wasn't always sludge, because there's a coffin in the cathedral, in, like, the Deacon's Boss Arena. And good luck on the first Headless Ratchet. And I cannot Hitless a boss today to save my life. Okay, that one is not my fault because the deflect didn't register. I don't know what's gone on today with bosses. Do not know what has happened. Yeah, Ceaseless being the biggest, or Ceaseless being like that massive makes perfect sense. I don't know, that kind of seems like small for Seath. You know, it does kind of feel like Seath was bigger than that. Oh yeah, Ceaseless is massive because, you know, obviously you're only supposed to fight it at, like, the head. You know, you don't actually fight its, like, legs or anything. Okay, see if I can actually hear her drop in this time. Yeah, I could. It would definitely help if I just, like, didn't have the music on so loud. And I'd actually be able to hear that. Oh yeah, I'm sure Calamite from, like, head to tail is pretty long, but that's it, in terms of actual height, is not that big of a dragon. Like, I'd be pretty confident saying that Calamite is smaller than Sin. Is it? There's no way he's that tall on 2 legs. I'm sorry, but if Seath is only 14 meters, then there's no way that Calamite on 2 legs is like 40. Calamite on 2 legs would be like... Honestly, he'd still be smaller than Seath. He'd maybe be like 11. I see, like, Midir is fucking massive, though. Like, Calamite is nowhere near Midir's size. Which version of Midir do you mean, though? Because the bridge version and the actual boss version are different sizes. I assume you mean the boss version. Oh, the bridge version. Yeah, say the bridge version of Midir is way bigger than boss. So... But that kind of brings that... That kind of, like, Calamite being 8 meters tall now doesn't really make sense to me. Like, there's no way that, like, Calamite is 8 meters tall if Bridge Midir is only 21. Like, that's got to be wrong, surely. Like, there's no way that Bridge Midir is, like, not even 3 times as big as Calamite. That just seems odd. Dude, why am I so bad today? I mean, in fairness, the no-hit runs today have not exactly been my focus. Like, I haven't exactly been, like, paying a ton of attention to them, because they've all been hit really early on. But they all got hit really early on, so after then I just kind of stopped paying attention. So obviously if I were actually still hitless here, I bet I would have been... I'd be focusing on this like a lot more. I mean, in all of Dark Souls, Ceasus probably is the biggest. If you want to include Demon Souls, then no. If you include Demon Souls, no. And I guess Divine Dragon might be bigger than Ceaseless. I don't know what is going on right now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on today. I haven't been focusing on the actual hitless runs at all. Okay, that doesn't make sense to me though, agility. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong, but just like trying to imagine it, it just doesn't seem right to me that like Boss Midir is only twice as tall as Calamite. I say I'm not saying that it's wrong, but it just seems odd to me. I mean, yeah, say if you're just stating for info from video, that's fine. Like, it probably is correct. I'm saying that it feels like Midir is way bigger than Calamite. Yeah, Dragon God and Demon Souls is fucking massive. Yeah, I think Dragon God is the biggest FromSoft boss. Like, I'm pretty sure it's way bigger than something like Placidus Axe. Or Rykard or anything. I'm pretty sure it's the biggest FromSoft boss. You didn't get hit by any bosses other than Demon. That's pretty fucking good. Yeah, that is pretty good, Ratchet, if you could no-hit like every fight in the game. Pretty impressive. I mean, but the point of Dragon God, it's not like a proper fight per se. I mean, yeah, except Demon, that's still fine. Like, Demon is a very difficult boss to no-hit. Because, like, Dragon God, you can't even see all of it. It's also one of the worst bosses in Demon Souls, but that's a different topic. Like, largest boss, but yeah, in my opinion, probably the worst in Demon Souls. I've never played a Mass Effect. I honestly really haven't played that many like popular games or game series. Like, I really haven't played that much beyond like Mario, Zelda, and Souls. It's one of your favourite franchises. Yeah. Oh well. I have not played it. Yeah, the second MD there is always so risky. The funny thing is the only one I've actually seen gameplay of is Andromeda. But like, the only one I've actually seen like gameplay or discussion of anything is Andromeda because of how fucking hilariously bad it is. That's the only like Mass Effect I've actually seen stuff of. Mostly from... I'm trying to think of what the video's called. There's someone who does like or they did not like summaries, but like that sort of funny stuff on games. I'm trying to think of what the channel's called. I'm trying to... Croby Cat, who's done like that type of video on certain topics. They've also done shit about like Cyberpunk, Left for not Left Dead, Back for Blood, and a lot of like funny game industry shit about like failed stuff. I'm pretty sure that might be like the only place I've actually seen it from. But I mean, say I haven't actually played that many series, or like that many like popular series. Okay, but I think that is going to do it, given it's now 7 o'clock. I mean, the actual runs themselves are pretty dog shit, but as I said, we got hit in both of them very early on, so I wasn't exactly like paying that much attention to them, which is probably why I got hit a lot. Friday's stream could be interesting. The reason I say that, it might be Sekiro, or I might do a Elden Ring all bosses D-Rust run. I'll have to see. Friday could potentially be the return of all bosses. If that is the case, it could be interesting. It could be very fucking interesting. So I haven't actually done an all bosses run in probably about 9 months. I'll say if I did do it, I would have to start super early. If I did do it, I would want to start at like probably midday. Maybe even earlier than that. D-Rust is in just like a no reset run. Just like doing the entire run just once all the way through to like get used to it again. But say if I did do that, I would have to start at like midday, even earlier potentially. No, congrats on the Hitless Kyobu Ratchet. Pretty good. I mean, the thing with doing it Saturday... I could do it Saturday. That might work better. I'd still have to start it earlier if I don't want to take like a massive break in the middle. I might finish early Saturday. I might not even be in, actually. I'll have to see. I'm really not that good at deflecting like the horse kick on Gyobu. I just always stand in a position that he never does it, because I'm not that good at deflecting it. But say if it is Saturday, then I'll probably have to start it at like 11 or 12 GMT. So like 3 to 4 hours earlier than normal. Because as I said, it is a long run. Especially if I don't want to take like a massive break in the middle. Which I don't really want to do. I kind of want to do it like all in one sitting to, you know, get back into that sort of like long run like mindset. Like get used to it again. But I mean, we'll see. I think maybe Friday might just be more Sekiro again. Because of course I have a shit ton of like challenge runs and speed runs and things that I have to edit, so I don't want to add even more like challenge runs or anything to my editing pile right now. So for the foreseeable, we're probably just going to be working on like no hit or speed runs or casual playthrough or this sort of thing. I think the world record is 5 hours 29 minutes 40 seconds in game time. That's the actual time I spent in the game. Real time, it's about 6.5 hours. So chances are I'm also not going to match that. So yeah, I don't think the Bloodborne playthrough will be a video. But basically there's 2 more parts of the DS2 casual playthrough. There's the Sekiro like speed up run, and there's the Elden Ring achievements run. So I don't think I would make the Bloodborne playthrough a video. I mean, if we're doing something Bloodborne-y on its anniversary, then depending on what I do, maybe I could make that a video, but the one we did on Saturday, I don't think so. I'd say, so Friday will probably be more Sekiro, and Saturday, if it goes to plan, Saturday will probably be the return of Elden Ring all bosses. All 165 bosses. Oh boy. So that should be fun. I'd say, yeah, I'll also go and have a look at Rise of Ronin, see how interesting it looks. We'll see, maybe. Maybe I could do slightly earlier, I don't know, but we'll see. So I'll have a look at Rise of Ronin, see if I'm interested. If I am, maybe we could do a casual playthrough on it. I don't know, but I'll have a look at that. But yeah, so no stream tomorrow. Friday, more Sekiro. Saturday, very likely all bosses. So yeah, but that is me done for the day. As I said, we were just doing no resets. I wasn't exactly focusing on the actual run themselves, so they weren't the best runs, but it was still a fun time. Yeah, YouTube isn't full time. So basically, normally I do editing stuff like in the late evening, sort of like 11 PM onwards until I go to bed is when I edit stuff. So basically I don't want to like fill that up too much, because I don't have like an entire days to do it. So I don't want to fill up the backlog of stuff too much. Because just on the current stuff that I want to turn into a video, I think I have like probably about 25-30 hours of footage. So I don't want to keep adding to that at the moment. So... But yeah, as I said, Sekiro Friday, Elden Ring Saturday. I don't know what I'm doing next week. I'll have a look at Rise of Ronin, see how interesting it looks. Maybe, maybe not. Probably more Sekiro grinding out the no-hit, but I don't know exactly yet. But yeah, as I said, that is going to be me done for the day. No stream tomorrow. Hopefully see you all Friday for more of this. Hopefully I'll be a bit more focused on the actual run, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, have a good afternoon/evening, everyone. Thank you all for stopping by, and take care.